Diary, good morning. It's October 2016 and I'm here in the study attempting to show you the benefits of the Corsair Air 540 case. Now, I've had this case for about 6 months, and in April this year I intended to build a new mega server slash workstation to replace my now approximately 6-year-old workstation. It didn't really happen because the componentry weren't there. They're still not quite there, but I'm on the point of building a workstation anyway, and this is probably going to be the case that I will use. I thought I'd spend a few minutes to tell you why I think you should use this case to build your next ultimate workstation or server. We start with the front and the overall size of the case. As you can see from the size of the optical drives that are squashed into the front, it's not that big a case. It's wider than a normal case, but you can see it's not what I would call a full tower case. So that's the first positive thing, in that I wanted a case that was relatively small and could be put into the boot of a car and transported around if necessary. As you can see from the front, there's some USB 3 sockets. There's also 2 media bays. Now I do feel that even in 2016 you still need some kind of optical media just to read things that may be sent to you in the post, like drivers. So I've got a Blu-ray drive stuck in there. By the way, this is a configuration I've just knocked up with an old server board, which I know would take off my hands. More of that later. So as you can see, there's a Blu-ray drive in there. I think you still need such a drive. This old server motherboard has a floppy drive. In fact, a rather smart 5 1/4 and 3.5 inch combo drive there. On the new server board that I shall be buying, it won't come with such a luxury because they've completely removed IDE and MFM floppy drive interfaces on any, I guess, 2010 plus motherboard. Right, so what is the genius of this case? In general, this case is very flexible. It's also extremely cheap. Unfortunately, cheap is not just the value of the case, it's the construction of the case. I would have much rather have bought a more expensive, say, Lian Li case, which the brand of which I'm most attracted to and familiar. However, they just still don't do a technically smart case, as you're about to see. So what is the killer feature of this case? Why would I choose this case over any other case? And the reason is, it's a 2-compartment design. So, crudely speaking, there's a line here, and this line is where your motherboard will mount. So on this side you're going to see the motherboard and hardly any wires, and on this side you've got media bays, the power supply, and let's have a look. So I'll open the flimsy screw. Take this panel off. So let's step around and have a little look. So, if you can see, we've got obviously the bays coming in here, the 2 5 1/4 inch bays coming in here. We've got a 4-bay 2.5 inch plasticky arrangement here, which will store 4 SSDs. This is I think a 10-year-old or more, 1000-watt power supply, but it does show you that you can get quite a large power supply in there. You can see there's ample holes for fans. You can put fans here, but as I'll show you in a minute, you'll probably preferably put fans in other places. So this is where all your cables are going to go, and of course they're going to be nicely concealed by that metal cover, and that won't be visible from the other side. So let's go on the back. Here's the back. So as you can see, you've got one very large, I guess it's a 140mm fan here, and you've got a standard motherboard cut out here where your ports are going to come out at. And as you can see, this is a case, by the way, that is sized appropriate for not just an ATX but an extended ATX motherboard. So server motherboards fit in here no problem, and in fact the motherboard we're going to show you right now is the E80X motherboard of 10-year-old heritage. Let's look around the side here. This is the Perspex panel, which I still haven't taken the nice sticky film off, which you'll be able to see your motherboard and design through after you've built it nicely without any cables showing. Have a look. Flimsy panel off. So, as you can see, it's not that tidy, but it will be tidy when I get the new brand spanking new motherboard, which I haven't got yet in there. But you can see you've got two media bays here with sort of quick release plastic clips. You've got all your PCIe Express cards will fit in here. This motherboard's so old it's got non-PCI Express slots, can you believe it? And you've got plenty of room. This is an extended ATX motherboard, so you can imagine with the next just a mere ATX motherboard, it's going to be looking quite small. Now, in 2016, you will have different cooling technology. You will see these tiny little heat sinks and fans from this more than 10-year-old motherboard will be replaced by today's technology, which is self-contained radiators. So how does that work? Well, you've removed this panel here. So can you see that? You can't see that. Okay. There's a panel on the top here. That can be removed, like so. And on the top, you'll see there are some big holes here. So for a dual CPU configuration, you can buy a 140mm radiator. The choices are 120 or 140mm. That's a radiator that would sit here with a fan unit. And that fan unit is connected via a series of liquid-filled pipes to your CPU, and there's a pump. So the modern way to do this would be to have, for a dual CPU, obviously two single radiators, one here. I go for 140mm because then your fans can spin a little bit more slowly, and the idea is to create a quiet workstation, of course. Or if you've just got the single CPU and an ATX card, you could have a dual radiator here, which is 140 times 2, 280 mils, and you'll attach that to your single CPU. So that's the way that modern systems are cooled. I think with these two fans and radiators in here, and the fan here, and the power supply fan on the other side, we'd have to see. I don't think you're going to need that many more fans, but there is room to put more fans, of course. You can. This Corsair case has room for, you know, another radiator at the front here for CPU, so you could fit the CPU cooling radiators here, or you can fit more 140 more fans there. So it's extremely flexible. It is very thin and tinny and cheap, and that's, like I say, reflected in the price. It's going back on. On this case, as opposed to the other case which I bought, which was a 240 case, which is a much smaller case, these screws do actually work, but on the 240 case they all kind of went wonky, so it was very unsatisfactory. I know you think you don't take the case open and shut the case that much, but I think if you're an enthusiast and a systems builder, you do tend to sort of fiddle around with the internals of your system quite a lot. So that's the Corsair Air 540 case. At the end of my review, my summary points are: it's a very cheap case. How cheap? It's about, let's say, 100 to 150 pounds. It's very thin, quite lightweight, very flexible in terms of fan areas. You can fit an E80X motherboard in here. So in fact, for server motherboards, the choices are extended ATX, E80X, or something else. Good luck finding a case for something else. If you're going to have a server motherboard which can accommodate two CPUs, this is one of the only cases you're going to find which is flexible enough to do that job. Like I say, thin case, lightweight, cheap, unfortunately in both senses of the word. Well designed in the sense you've got this mechanism to have this vertical mounting point here for the motherboard. That's the key selling point, unique selling point. And you've got this compartment on this side where you can put all the gubbins and hide all the wires. and also, by the way, the vertical mechanism separates the cooling of the power supply and some of your media drives from everything else. So I hope you've enjoyed this little tour. I would recommend the 540 motherboard. When the new server motherboard and all its components arrive, I'll probably shoot another video showing the final result of the build. Thanks for watching. Again, it's October 2016. I think this was valid, when I've shot this video. Thank you. Bye.